Hey everybody, this is Matt. Welcome to Touchgrass Gardening. Today I'm going to give you a quick tour of my backyard just to show you the trees that I find most interesting in the hopes that you'll find them interesting too. So we're going to start with my seedling avocado. This is just a tree that we grew from seed with avocados that we ate. Put them in dirt, give them water every day, and a year later they'll be a couple feet tall. We decided to put them in the ground, and 3 years later they're 15 feet tall. So they've been through 2 winters, 2 summers. They're doing really well, and it's the tree that I first started with, the tree that got me into gardening, and a tree that I really enjoy growing. That also shows that we have some other avocados here as well, but mostly I like to grow tropical fruits, things that I can't always buy at the store, like this Loquat here. It's something you don't commonly find in a grocery store. Right around here you'll find a lychee. So this is a Chinese fruit that I had a lot of when I lived in China, and is one of my favorite fruits. And I was really surprised when I learned that I could grow this tree here in Phoenix. It's done extremely well. It's lush, tropical, beautiful tree. It's put on a ton of growth this summer. It's been here for 2 years now and done really well. So right around here you'll see that there's a mango tree. Mango is another type of fruit that does extremely well here and is one that's fun to grow because it's actually pretty easy. It can take a lot of the sun and it just needs a little bit of cold protection in the winter. And it's a beautiful tree that stays evergreen all year long. These small bushes here, I have 2 of them. It's called a miracle fruit. So whatever you eat after you eat a miracle fruit, it turns super sweet. So this is often used for cancer patients on chemotherapy where their taste buds are a bit off and they want to taste sweetness still. So whatever you eat after you eat a miracle fruit, it tastes sweet. Like if you have a lemon, it tastes sweet right afterwards. It's something that is one of the more interesting experiences with a fruit if you've ever had the opportunity. Right here is a jackfruit. This is also one of our favorite fruits to eat as a family, and is not one that you can always find in a grocery store in the US. It's an Asian fruit, and so it's a tree that I decided to put in the yard. We haven't got any fruit off it yet, but it's only been in the ground for a year. And the fruits are quite enormous, so the tree is going to have to be bigger before it puts on fruit. So, but this is a really fun one for me to grow because it's different. It's something that you don't always see at any nursery that you go to, but it's going to be a fun tree to grow. And then, this is a couple more avocados here that are doing well. But across the back, in my backyard, there's a public trail behind us. So I've put all different types of clumping bamboo against the fence. So instead of having a big block wall, have it be a natural, lush barrier to the backyard. And I think bamboo is probably the most interesting, easy, and beautiful plant that you can put as a privacy barrier. So clumping bamboo is really easy. This is just 1 year of growth, and it's already 10 feet tall. So I really love the look of bamboo as well. This is a fig. This is a Nixon peace fig. So the story goes that when Richard Nixon went to China, Henry Kissinger went before him, and when he was given a group of gifts, this was part of the gifts that he received. So it was a Nixon peace fig. It was a cutting. Now it's been propagated around the country, and is, because I spent a lot of time in China, is a tree that I thought I should have in my yard. So here you can see there's a bunch of different mature citrus trees. These were here when we first moved into the property, and put on hundreds of oranges every year. And they're super easy. One thing I was surprised by when I moved to Phoenix was how well citrus grows here. And they're enormous trees, put on a ton of oranges, and all you have to do is just fertilize it a couple times a year, and they do well. So I put some more citrus in the yard just because citrus does so well here, but it's also a type of fruit that we enjoy. So we particularly enjoy pomelos. So I have a couple different pomelo trees here as well. And it's also a big fun fruit. If you've ever had a pomelo before, it's not something you often see too much in a grocery store, but is really like a type of grapefruit that's a little bit sweeter. So right here, you can also see that I have the pomegranate. these pomegranates do extremely well in the desert. They don't really need that much water, which was a surprise to me. I always thought pomegranate was a very tropical fruit, but it's not. It does well even with minimal water and lots of sun. And it's something that if you're a beginner gardener, you should just put a pomegranate in your yard, and it's a lot easier to keep alive than you might think. So we also have a couple mulberries. This is a white mulberry here. This is a Jaboticaba tree. So this is a really interesting tree. Once it gets larger, it has a grape-like fruit that actually grows on the trunk of the tree, not under the leaves. So as this continues to grow up, it will have grapes that start to grow on the trunk of the trees. You can see I also have, a bamboo against the back here. Continuing the privacy fence. It's not completely mature yet, but you can see the potential. And then here is probably the most interesting tree in the yard is a silk floss tree. So it has these spikes on the trunk of the tree. And in the winter, when it loses all of its leaves, it puts on bright pink blooms, just beautiful blooms. Probably the most beautiful tree that I've ever seen. And when I saw it, I thought, can I grow that in my yard? And I realized I could. And so we put it here, and it was 6 feet tall when we put it here two years ago. Now it's probably 25, 30 feet tall. So just a wonderful, easy to grow tree that gives your yard a unique look. Probably the second most unique tree in the yard is this rainbow eucalyptus. And the interesting thing about this tree is that the bark sheds to create kind of a rainbow-like color. These are often seen in Hawaii. You can see like right here that there's multicolored trunk where it really has this type of coloring that you don't often see on trees. But eucalyptus sheds a lot of bark and creates this type of rainbow color for this particular variety. It's really a beautiful tree. It's also one that was 6 feet tall when we bought it and is now 25, 30 feet tall after 2 years. So just an amazing tree. This is the other mulberry here. So this is a Pakistan mulberry. If you've ever had mulberry before, this is the purple fruit that you probably had. Delicious fruit, but you don't see it in a store because it goes bad so fast after you pick it. And then over here is kind of the Jujube forest that I've been working on this past spring, where I wanted to create a privacy fence here, but also plant trees that my daughter loves the most. So she loves jujubes. They're kind of like a dry, small apple. And she loves them so much they've all been eaten already. But you can see that there's about 7 jujube trees here, and they just create this very nice look. It's a Chinese fruit that we love as a family. So you should always just plant the trees that your family's going to enjoy. So just going this way, we'll go more towards the sitting area, and then some of the smaller trees that we have in the courtyard. This tree here it was here when we moved in. Just amazing tree. I've grown to really like this tree. It's an Australian bottle tree, and it's a very unique look. It has this kind of willow-like dropping of the leaves where they hang down, look very beautiful. And the trunk itself, this is all from woodpeckers, but it has a really unique look where it kind of gets thicker on the bottom like a bottle, and that's where it gets its name from. Various trees here as well, like another Jaboticaba, the one with the grapes that grow on the trunk, the bird of paradise as well. Different things that I just want to try and experiment with. A tree that I've really grown to enjoy is this Starfruit, and my vision here was that you would have this tree that kind of overhangs the patio where we often might have lunch or something where we're outside enjoying the yard. But you can see that it's blooming right now. There's multiple blooms all over the tree. And this is a Starfruit, so it's the type of fruit that you probably don't often see in the store, but it is a great flavor and is also a fruit that my family loves. So this is a really beautiful tree, stays evergreen all year long, and is a pretty easy one to grow. Coming this way is the sitting area. So this was an area that had been started by the previous owner of the house that we've added a few extra trees in. So you can see over here, there's this pergola, and then there's 2 orange trees, as well as a key lime and lemon tree, cocktail tree, and overhangs all of it. So you can kind of just sit here and enjoy the shade throughout most of the day, which here in Phoenix, the sun is the problem, so you always want to avoid it as much as possible. And this is really a beautiful sitting area where you have fruits growing above you, and you know, is really always just full of key limes if you want to put it in your water or your drink, whatever it is. It's just really fun to have limes as a part of your yard. A very easy tree to grow. And then I think lastly, an area that my daughter and wife have really enjoyed is this raised bed area, where we can just grow vegetables and any other thing that we can find at the store and just put it in the dirt, and it grows quite well. So it's quite fun to have raised beds here. And here you can see we put 2 blackberries in, just took over the entire raised bed. There's a few blackberries growing on here, like you can see here right now, but it isn't really the time for it. It's more in the spring, but it puts on berries throughout the year. We also have tomatoes, which kind of are interspersed with these gourds and roses. And we just picked this last night, so there's not many on, but it's just full of tomatoes. Really nice to grow and just come out and pick your own tomatoes. So yeah, this is the end of the tour. I hope that you have enjoyed the tour and that you'll follow me on my gardening journey on Touchgrass Gardening. So thank you. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.